Here's a little update video on my little Kenmore 8-inch fan. I have not done a video on this since I posted it, um, before and after its restoration. Right now, it is like kind of my daily driver, a fan on my desk, so it is in its normal spot, kind of. Normally be back against the wall. Why do I have like no light in here? What the hell? Hold on. There we go. Let me just give you a backstory on this. So this little thing, I picked up at an antique store in Columbus for I think it was $27. I gave them 30, and I got like a quarter back. So I don't know what happened to my $3, but I swiftly, quite frankly, don't care. There was a tag on it of $24, and I guess there was a tax of you know. And when I picked it up, the blades were on backwards. The blades were horribly bad. This thing was absolutely disgusting, and it had no oil left in it. I'm surprised it even turned on when I got home. And after that video I took and I posted, it subsequently subsequent sub subsequently locked itself up. I had to. Like it wouldn't turn over by on its own. It like was slightly seized. So I took it apart, gave it a thorough cleaning. I did not polish the blades. I do not have semi-chrome polish. I should have bought some because the shaft needed it because there were some marks from where the bearings had deposited themselves on the shaft. It took a lot of oil. I'm pretty sure I gave, like, both bearing felts combined nearly took an ounce of oil. Maybe not that much, but they were thirsty, if anything. I could describe it as that. It was also completely disgusting. I scrubbed it thoroughly in a sink with a sponge. I had to put the blades on correctly, adjust their position so they weren't hitting the back cage like they were. And I had to bend them forward and like adjust the pitch on them and clock everything. It was almost a nightmare. But everything works. I also wiped down the cord and it was like filthy black. Well, it's still brown. It came in brown. It's probably not as clean as it could ever be. What else happened? That's about it. And that was what, almost 3 months ago. Yeah, probably 3 months ago, and I still use it. It still operates perfectly fine. It has some of the best motor sounds. It is like really really cool sounding. It uses a shade pull motor, a specifically an O frame, which is like a different looking C frame. Instead of having one coil on the bottom, there is a coil on the top and bottom of the rotor. But it still operates on the same principles, and it's like inefficient. Now this fan, I thought was a Dominion, because Dominion sold fans like this, but no, this is actually a Kenmore brand. And the reason for that is there is a Kenmore sticker on the bottom of it. If you take a look here. What the hell? Well, I have a fiasco happening. Stop it. Why must you do this? On the bottom, it says Kenmore. 110 volt, 120 volt AC only, 60 cycles, 30 watts. So by Sears and Roebuck Co., Chicago, Illinois. Now these are known as dime store fans because back in the day you could pick this up for something similar for $5. This also has a hole to accept a nail and mount on a wall. which if you follow my Instagram account, I did that. I actually had to widen this hole using my Dremel tool because it would not fit like the size of your standard nail. And the reason why this is actually not Dominion is, look how this went. Dominion fans with this style of base with the striping on it, the guard that it was installed with had only 3 wires. There was this middle one and one here and one here. Dominion style fans with this style of guard had a base that was entirely featureless and had a toggle switch on the side of the motor. The other ones just had a switch cord with an inline thumb switch on it. And your third one has had like a weird spiderweb looking thing with a hole in the middle and a square base instead of an oval. And this one is just like a weird funky shape. That's like a triangle-ish. So this has, in my words, a first generation base and a second generation grill, which to my understanding did not exist in Dominion's selling. But I guess Kenmore just used whatever they got, and so this made this. And I quite frankly prefer this base over the plain featureless one. It just looks better. This is all original paint, maybe baby original. I'm not repainting it. Some of it's chipping off. Alright, now this fan does spin in the counterclockwise direction because it mostly did, to be honest. It makes some cool sounds, so I'll put you guys off to the side here and we can get a startup on this thing. Alright, here we go. Okay, now it's on. And if I let it run for like 5 more minutes, it'll get up to a slightly higher speed. Now let's measure the wind. Now, understandably, it's not that high, obviously. So it averages around 8 to 8.5, 9 at most. Remember, this guard right here does not, careful where I put my fingers, does not restrict a lot of airflow at all. And I'm actually surprised at the spin time this has when I turn it off, because I don't think I've ever shown you guys a picture. I probably won't put it up on the screen. But this thing has a lot of washers inside the motor, which every sleeve bearing fan has them to prevent back and forth movement of the shaft. This one has a lot to prevent any at all, but there's so many that it pushes against the bearing carriers or bearings themselves when fully assembled, and so that understandably produces an amount of friction. But given that friction, it still spins for quite longer than I would ever anticipate, not knowing it would. And I found fans with just the right amount of wear in their bearings have quite a good coast time, which is quite long because they've been broken in ish, like this one's have, when it was ran with no oil left at all. It does get quite warm. Let's turn it off here. It's not that warm, but if you let it run for longer, it will understandably get warm. And yes, this will cut you while it's spinning, obviously. I've had it nick my knuckle, and it was not the funnest thing, and also kind of bent the blade, and I had to fix it. And so what I mean by making the blade straight is, see how there's very little back and forth movement of the blade? See how like one blade's just not bent back and it's like this? And I did this entirely by hand. I had no jig to make it this straight. So this was entirely just poking my finger right here and feeling whatever was bent back further, like tap my finger, and I push it forward, and I kept doing it and doing it and doing it, and now it's like perfectly straight. Now, did it spin this fast when I got it? Absolutely not. Mostly because this is a weak little motor, and so it could not overcome the overbearing load of the absolute dry bearings. But also, the blades were obviously out of clock and angled quite deeply, so it was spinning quite slow already. And I'm pretty sure this is the speed they came in, or like from the factory. Or close enough. At least I don't know what it actually is. It's a 36,000 RPM motor. It's 2-pole. Yeah. And I'm actually surprised how far this fan carries for having a weak little stream. But it carries quite a distance, which I'm honestly very surprised at. So, like, if I point it this way, if I point it this way and just walk away, I have my ceiling fan on and I can still feel it. I can still feel a gentle breeze, like much greater than the draft. Nearly 8 feet away, which is quite surprising for, a weak little fan. I'm gonna leave this running for a minute so it gets warmed up. Yeah, the bearings only like activate their long spin time if it's warmed up enough. And yes, despite it having a weak shade pull motor, it does reach its top speed almost immediately. And also, like, some days it will vary. Like, I notice it will be constantly whining, which means it'll have a lower RPM, because certain RPMs produce that certain whine, which is just a motor characteristic. And it's not resulting of, oh, your windings are loose, you need to revarnish them. No, they're perfectly fine. And it's not as loud as I thought it would be. I mean, it's about the same volume as my previous 6-inch desk fan, which was the Dayton 6-inch fan, which I haven't done a video on in a long while. Which costed me like $60. That was a lot. But it puts out definitely more air than this. That little thing is like a high velocity. And it uses the same O-frame motor. Albeit modern. Are we warm yet? Probably not. I guess that's as long as it's gonna get. I feel a little warmth. Only from the front. But again, it has to be running for like an hour. I mean, no, freaking hour. 25 minutes to half an hour for it to. Or like a longer period of time that I'm willing to wait. Yeah, that's about it for this fan. Now I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.